Hello, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Vylos, and we're back with more Throne of Liberty today. Now, today's video is kind of special to me. I'm a person who likes to min-max my time, so I wanted to figure out what is the fastest way to level up in Throne and Liberty. Our journey begins where every other journey on online games begins, by me feeling like I'm not getting enough done, and as fast as I want to get it done. Not everybody has this experience. I like to get to the end of the game so I can begin doing all the endgame content that requires level 50 in this game. I tried to figure out the quickest way to get the most XP, and the two things that sprung to mind first are quests and dungeons. Historically, dungeons are a side mission to do that you do once, and then you might go back to it later on in the game if there's a higher difficulty setting, but for the most part, it's something to do when there's quests available for the dungeon. So, the dungeon I chose to run for this experiment was Spectre's Abyss. It unlocks at level 20 and is available to all players from that point forward. The best case scenario for these kinds of dungeons when you're leveling up is to get into a group with a bunch of level 50s. The monsters remain level 20, so they just melt through the damage and they can take more hits. The first group I had 3 level 50s. We cleared that dungeon out in 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Now, we consider that very lucky. When you're trying to run dungeons for the sake of leveling up, having higher levels just makes more sense so that you can grind through it as fast as humanly possible. The second one, not so lucky. There was 2 level 50s in my party, but the group was disjointed, and we came in with a time of 5 minutes and 4 seconds. Again, not too bad, not great though. So far we're at a little over 10 minutes for this experiment. The third and final run of Spectre's Abyss that I chose to do wasn't so great. We had 1 level 50, but it was clear to me that this is a group of newbies. In fact, I died once because I was taking on a bunch of the damage because I did not realize that our tank did in fact disconnect or leave the party. More so, the group members weren't aware of their positioning and pulled every mob possible. We still cleared the dungeon, but unfortunately we came in with a time of 11 minutes and 3 seconds. Even though these results aren't what I was after, it's still important to keep them for the sake of making sure that the experiment, massive quotations, goes according to plan, and that we can actually look at the sources of data and make a judgment based on that. Over the course of the 3 dungeons, I went up approximately 85% of my level bar, or 149,000 XP points. These are just rough estimates, but using these rough estimates, we can look at the time involved, and what we're actually looking for is total XP gained per minute played. So, bear with me. 149,000 XP in 20 minutes gives us a pretty easy equation. Now that I have the data required, I figured out that we get approximately 7,450 XP per minute in the dungeon. The trade-off with doing the dungeons instead of quests is you can only get the XP if you have the required material. Abyssal contract token points are required to open any bins in the dungeon, and to open the bin means you get XP for the dungeon. If you don't open the bin, you get nothing. No XP, no loot. You might get a grand total of 2% XP in the dungeon from killing mobs, but it's not enough to warrant going into the dungeon without the abyssal contract points. Once I had finished off doing the dungeon runs, I switched gears to figure out if questing was faster. A good deal of XP points and other resources comes from the in-game contracts. These in-game contracts require you to go to different zones and complete whatever the task is, sometimes hunting monsters, sometimes collecting stuff. For the sake of speed and giving us a fair baseline, I added a minute onto the time of collecting the quests. If I'm trying to get as many quests done as fast as possible, it would take me 1 to 2 minutes just to get the quests gathered and then head back to the zone where I'm going to be doing the quests. So I did the quests for about 8 minutes just to try and see how fast I can get one set of quests done. So when we take the 8 minutes, we add the 2 minutes onto getting the quest and getting back to the zone time, we're at 10 minutes. We're already at half of the time it took to run the dungeons. And again, that last dungeon was a crazy one-off. I've never actually been in that dungeon for that long. In that 10-minute time frame, I gained 10% XP on level 31 and 15% XP on level 32 after 10 minutes. So that's about 25% XP. As far as I know, the experience doesn't scale in this game, which means what you get is what you get. Keep in mind, I died in both the last dungeon and on the field when I was trying to complete quests.
Because you suck.
I stopped the stopwatch for both of these instances because it doesn't reflect what I'm trying to figure out, which is if I don't suck, how fast can I level up? After completing the quests on the ground, I found that I had 55,505 XP points more than I had previously. So now we just take the 55,505 XP over the course of 10 minutes and divide it by 10 to equate to 5,550 XP per minute. We can see that in the level 30 region, it is more efficient to level up doing dungeons as long as you have the Abyssal Contract tokens than doing quests, even if you get as many quests as possible. An extra 2,000 XP per minute will have you leveling up way faster. In conclusion, if you've been wondering if it's more efficient to complete quests or spam dungeons, here's the answer. Run the dungeons as long as you have the Abyssal Contract tokens. Once you run out, jump back to quests. That will be the fastest way for you to level up. I hope you guys find this information useful, and if you did, make sure to like and subscribe for more Throne and Liberty content. Thank you, my name is Vylos, and I will see you next time.